DHR2. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing my sunglasses, because one is shiny, it's sunny outside, and shining through my window. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get on with everything wrong with part 3 of Crown Jewel. But before I get into this, unfortunately, I couldn't find part 1 and part 2 of everything wrong with Crown Jewel. So I think we're currently at 551 video of Miz versus Rey Mysterio. And before I could continue to go on, I was interrupted by a phone call, so I had to start over. So we're not going to go all the way back from the beginning of the video, so we're going to continue on with what we got now. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram. The original video will be down below. Let go.
Your eyes closed.
What lengths will he go to make it to the final?
What kind of question is that? After all these years of The Miz doing anything necessary to achieve his goals, it's pretty obvious that he'll do anything to make it to the finals.
Miz is not known for submissions.
And yet he's been doing the figure 4 leg lock for the past 5.5 years or so. Sure, he's not known for doing submissions.
The guy's got black belts in martial arts. You didn't even know Mysterio.
Probably the reason we didn't know the Miz's black belt in martial arts existed is because they don't, Corey. You're likely just making stuff up as we go along.
Cover! Almost stole one there.
That's not stealing a victory, you son of a bitch! Miz Jitsu.
But wait, Miz is a black belt?
If Michael Cole doesn't know about the Miz or his black belt in martial arts, then nobody does. He's the one who used to have the creepy erection.
You train with the brother of Napoleon Dynamite?
What?
Okay, that line was funny as hell. Here's another send-off.
No.
Here, get a random shot of the World Cup trophy that we've been showing constantly for
I'll
nearly
take this
every
glasses
match, with the
off because
exception of
one is
so
too
far.
big on my face.
Determine the best in the world.
We have heard the phrase to determine the best in the world
Much
more
better.
times than I could count, and I'm truly getting irritated here. If I have to hear that phrase one more damn time, I'm throwing in 20 sins. One for now, but you've been warned. Yeah, they likely won't listen.
Display the World Cup trophy in Monroe's room.
Corey actually believes that the Miz and Maurice will place the World Cup trophy in Monroe's room. No offense, but she can't be the best in the world yet. No fair. I'm just saying.
Go out and line dance with them?
Will you two please stop talking about what the Miz and Maurice would possibly do with the trophy? The
Like,
Miz
for
is
real,
body
can we
is
focus
plugged
on
in
the
up
match,
right, looking to
please?
squeeze the already injured ribs, which is something you guys have been making a big deal about since the enter for this semifinals match. Do I have to do the commentary for this show now?
I think Cole line dancing.
Cole line dancing.
And look at it again. Miz, great strategy.
Finally, somebody acknowledged that. How many times am I going to get pissed off for this one show? Please tell me I'm almost done. Wait, I'm not even halfway through the show? Why did I bother to take this job 4.5 years ago?
He knows exactly
Fighting.
where he gets in the ring.
It's in your water bottle.
Just because Corey thinks the Miz is a brilliant strategist, Renee Young believes that his water bottle had been spiked with some sort of potion to make him cheer for Miz.
Uh-oh.
As usual, the first time Ray goes through the bottom rope to the outside floor, he rolls through and gets back to his feet. But then the second time, he lands flat on his chest. Just for once, I'd like to see him roll through twice in a row. Who else noticed that the Miz was grabbing Ray's butt the whole time he had him in the abdominal stretch? The Miz is in the position for Ray to connect the 619, and Ray is doing everything he can to not hit the 619. No wonder he loses this match.
Really?
That's literally the second time Ray has gone for the sunset flip maneuver, and that's also the
You
second
might as well
time he
just stop,
botched it.
bruh.
Only this time
Cause-
more miserably than the last. That is no doubt the funniest botch of this match.
619.
Win the fucking match! Ray's pathetic mistake of posing for the fans for the 100th time, which causes him to
I've always
makes him
hated.
deserve these
I've
10 seconds.
always hated when
Ever
wrestlers
learned
do
posing
that
for the fans is the
because you're
worst
taking
strategy
and wasting
ever?
too much time doing it.
Legs of Mysterio.
This pinfall should not have counted, considering Miz's arm was underneath Ray's shoulder the entire time.
The Miz took advantage of an earlier attack by Randy.
Don't start making excuses for Ray's loss, Michael. It's his own damn fault that he lost.
Winner
Right.
this tournament, the best in the world.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. I'm getting sick of constantly hearing that phrase every few minutes.
For real.
Wait, what happened to the pyrotechnics Seth Rollins was using earlier? No fair, why can't we see them again? That made the entrance more kick-ass. Second match tonight, and still no Raw Tag Team title in sight. I thought this guy loved being a double champion.
One of the great rivalries.
No offense, but I wouldn't label Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler to be one of the great rivalries. Nothing against them, but the only thing I really remember from this feud is the crowd constantly counting down the clock like it was the Royal Rumble match back at Extreme Rules. Seth Rollins unintentionally mooning the crowd.
The winner of this match will face The Miz.
Duh!
so well.
By this point, nearly every
Not
wrestler
really.
in the WWE know each other so well,
Dolph
even
Ziggler
if they
still
didn't
sucks.
face off in the ring. It's called watching and strategizing based on previous matches of your
Right.
opponent. Drew McIntyre has the same look he had on earlier, where he's his ass, leave him, or a combination of the two. I'd watch my back if I were Dolph.
His Miz has been fairly unscathed.
We're still talking about The Miz? This match involves Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Pay attention, you idiot. Yet another random shot of the screen above the ring. How many tonight? I lost count on that too.
McIntyre barking at Rollins.
That's clearly the referee who's barking at Seth Rollins. I don't hear Drew speaking at all, so how can Michael hear him? Especially
You know, this
far away from the commentator
event
desk and
is
closer to
terrible.
the wrestlers. I don't know why I'm standing in front of you just to do nothing but stare, but roll with it. I want to piss off Christian Miracle more than he already is.
Get your little buddy DQ.
Yeah, Drew, you go get your little buddy some DQ ice cream. Oh, wait. Also, Seth knows that he is pretty much safe from Drew McIntyre since the referee is watching them and could disqualify Dolph if Drew laid a hand on Seth. So why isn't he just ignoring Drew and getting back into the ring? That must be really painful to Dolph's hands, raking them against the top rope. At least Seth's face is entirely protected by Dolph's hands, despite that not being part of his plan.
Come on, Seth.
Oh god, don't you fucking dare start telling Seth to do something again. It never worked before, Dolph. Stop taunting him all the fucking time. Once again, see what I mean about the taunting? All Dolph has done is allow Seth to recover and get back into the match. I reckon.
Dolph looks like he's getting a little frustrated.
Does that seriously look like frustration to you, Renee? Because to
No.
me, Dolph looks like he's confident and in control of the match. Where do you see
And
the
plus,
frustration?
this match looks kind of
There was
boring
a
as
great
well.
moment, you're right, but he
The
switched.
crowd's not
Now,
into
Renee
it. This
believes Dolph
event
was frustrated, but then he
it looks
switched back to confidence.
terrible
To me, ever since
altogether.
Seth kicked out of the pinfall, Dolph has looked confident. Still no signs of the supposed frustration look Renee saw.
Realizes he's in the ring with a wounded animal.
Well, considering Dolph also had a match earlier against Kurt Angle, wouldn't the effects of that match make him a wounded animal as well? Hell, he was in the ankle lock for a long time during the match, which he seems to have forgotten about by this point.
Now Ziggler just mocking Rollins.
Really? Giving Seth a small kick to the side of the head qualifies as mocking him? I don't seem to recall Seth brushing his foot against his opponent's faces.
Fights out of it.
Seth clutches his head before he connected with the turnbuckle itself. Also, even if Seth didn't react a little too early, his head never even connected with the turnbuckle in the first place, so that made it even more awkward.
Dolph's getting frustrated.
I hope Renee doesn't confuse that with confidence.
Now Rollins stacking up Ziggler.
Roll up City, I suppose.
How's that the tank right now?
I bet Rey Mysterio feels a little jealous because he did that move twice and botched it both times, yet Dolph Ziggler successfully connected it without a botch the first time. The referee's over-exaggeration on the word when he does that. If he's trying to be really dramatic, he's going overboard with the try.
Rollins' confidence.
Top rope push-ups or something.
These two superstars know each other.
And how many more times are we going to hear the commentator stating the obvious fact that the wrestlers know each other so well? That's not the first time I've seen it in this match, I believe.
Rollins now.
I don't know why I randomly dove outside the ring to take out Drew McIntyre, but just roll with it.
McIntyre.
The referee has no peripheral vision and could have easily seen Seth
Man,
fall
this
into the
match
ring
was
canvas.
terrible.
How did he not figure out that Seth got thrown off by Drew, who was coincidentally at that side of the ring as well? Or does he think Seth was stupid enough to randomly causing Drew to accidentally start chewing on his hair? Or was he doing that on purpose, considering he's the Scottish psychopath?
Tyler said he would make
What's with the spinning and circle motions Dolph is doing with his fingers?
It doesn't seem fair that you would advance to the finals.
Oh, shut up. Can we go with
Seriously, this guy
just
sucks.
one night without having to hear Byron Saxon's constant whining and complaining about life being unfair? Life is unfair.
Baron Saxon is by far the worst commentator of all time, and this is exactly one of them. All he ever does is complain and whine. Jesus, is this guy the worst commentator ever? I mean, goodness gracious, bruh.
That's how it works. Get over it.
Best in the world.
I should have placed a freaking bet with the idea that I would receive $10 for every time the phrase best in the world is mentioned. I'd have over $1,000 right about now.
Don't want to miss the biggest event of the year.
The way WrestleMania has been the last few years, people don't seem to mind missing it, and that's a freaking shame. Here we go again. This is just like when AJ Styles battled Shinsuke Nakamura at so many consecutive pay-per-view
Yeah,
events,
these
only with
bookings
less
are
low
just
blows.
terrible.
It's kind of pointless to be playing this promo video considering this time the match between AJ and Joe has nothing to do with Wendy. After Samoa Joe has used that phrase one too many times, I'm kind of getting bored from it. It's sad when the only bit of hype you can use for this title match is the same.
You know, it was fun while it lasted between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, but at this point, it really is time to try something new. You can't just roll with the same thing forever.
All Joe did was attack AJ from behind, threatened to take his title, and the end. Nothing personal came from this reignited feud.
This rivalry has been going on since SummerSlam.
You're wrong for two reasons. The first reason is that this feud has been going on since before SummerSlam even took place. Otherwise, SummerSlam would have been the first time that Samoa Joe appeared to AJ, thus beginning the feud. And the other reason that you're wrong is because this rivalry halted for nearly a full month before reignited only 3 days ago. Nearly 30 seconds of waiting for AJ's music to hit.
Last year, that's where AJ Styles...
Damn, that pyro blast was awesome. I was wondering what
Yeah,
happened.
I wish it was like that in the WWE on SmackDown nowadays, but too bad they can't do it because of Brock Lesnar.
And a match with Samoa Joe? Absolutely not.
I can understand the bad idea of challenging Samoa to a match with your title on the line, but AJ Styles has managed to retain his title 100% of the time throughout this feud, so I'm pretty sure he's not that worried.
The emotional off.
Come on, Renee, that kick wasn't that hard.
Right.
Samoa Joe trying to beg off the attack.
Samoa Joe isn't begging for mercy whatsoever. What are you talking about, Michael?
This has just gotten so personal.
I am honestly shocked that we're hearing the phrase, "This feud is so personal," almost as many times as we're hearing the phrase, "best in the world tonight." We're close to an end of part 3, and I still don't give a shit about the #1 trend or this event in particular.
It's psychological.
Seriously? A punch that clearly never even came into contact with Samoa Joe's head was enough to make him fall to the ground? I'm sorry, but when you compare the sizes of these two, that sequence is not believable at all.
Driven into the post.
Don't forget to mention the fact that Samoa Joe drove himself into the ring post at that moment, whereas AJ Styles did absolutely nothing to make it happen.
Joe with
Renee Young doesn't like Samoa Joe doing suicide dives, but I guarantee if it was AJ doing it, she wouldn't give 2 fucks about it.
Exactly.
cover for the championship.
AJ clearly kicks out at 1, but the referee insists on continuing the count to 2.
He may have done it right there. Hooks.
I'm pretty sure Joe knew that AJ was so close to the ropes, and yet he still decides to hook the inside leg rather than the outside leg. Is he trying to lose on purpose?
And now the trash talking begins.
That wasn't even trash talking. All Joe did was tell AJ to get up. If he was trash talking, he'd be trying to get on AJ's nerve by insulting his 100th time.
This match for the WWE Championship.
Like, it's starting to get old now.
This match was also about the best in the world. I think that would be understandable considering we have not once shut up about it all night.
To crown a...
Are cheering for. They go quiet, but then they suddenly get louder and repeat. Does anyone know what that was about?
Oh, Styles.
The more you stand around posing, the more you will be unsuccessful in connecting the Styles clash. And after all the times AJ gets countered when he poses like that, why does he even bother anymore?
Joe.
The referee starts counting before AJ even pins Joe at all.
Cover. Oh,
Not that many center movers during this event, no shocker there, but I'll definitely remove one here for the quickness into the coquina clutch. That was actually awesome.
That's cool.
here it comes.
You're telling me that a single phenomenal forearm was enough to finish off Joe in a 10-minute match where Joe dominated the majority of it? Because I call bullshit on that.
You know, let me just say this about this pay-per-view. It's one of the worst. Vince McMahon has lost his mind on this one. He cares about the money by himself. You know, a tragic end that happened in one area, but they ended up doing a pay-per-view anyway. So I think part 4 is going to be scary and funny at the